Yo. This thing actually worked this time? Let me know if you can hear me. I think you can. Can you hear me knocking? Who's that? Rolling Stones? I think so. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Who do we got? We got Raymond Matthew in the house. The DLC included in the house. Campophobic. What up? Number 74. Peyton's in the house. John in the house. Lee in the house. Amy in the house, our number one female listener. Number 74, again, loud and clear. Thank you, thank you. Stephen in the house, what is up? Good morning, coach, he says. Joseph in the house, yo. Raymond's digging into questions right away. That's good. We have other questions that I got via email, the chaseironsforum.com. I always say but it's just chaseironsforum.com. You guys can sign up there, join our community, chat about things and stuff, and moms and dads and stuff. Talk about divorce. A lot of that going on in there. Anyways, what else do we got? Raymond, how's the Increlex experiment going? I can attest you look larger in person. So I'll touch on this. Guys, TommyJohnCoaching.com. There will be a pop-up that comes up. Please sign up for the emails. I don't send you any bullshit. Basically, just lets you know when I'm going live. Lets you know when Omega Amino is running sales on our research compounds. So you can use code Tommy. Normally, a lot of the sales we run, it's a sale plus your affiliate code to get you an extra 10% off. So that's a lot of the times how we're doing things. But sometimes we're giving away free stuff and all sorts of good things. So I just want to let you guys know about that via email. It'll let you know when I go live, everything like that. So I don't really promote my coaching. I let my clients promote me. It's kind of how I like to grow my business. I like it to happen organically. I'm not really into the there seems to be I don't want to call it a trend because scaling businesses is not a trend, but it seems to be that coaching in my eyes has become just a way to make money, and I never really looked at it that way. um, it's probably because I had a career before I actually created my coaching business. So, but yeah, so I'm not going to promote my coaching or anything like that. Occasionally, we'll drop some tips and tricks, training, nutrition, all the stuff. Peyton in the house. Saw your reel this morning. Definitely making the bald head look smaller than everything else. Thank you. Except your hands. Yeah, honestly, I've always had big hands and they continue to get larger. So there's that. John in the house. Cool. He's got questions. These are all good things. David has questions. So let's just start digging in. We got 14 people and 0 likes. You're assholes, all of you, each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are just bad people. Okay, let's see. Let me start at the top. And let's dive into Raymond's first question. Raymond Matthew with the first question of the day. How is the Increlex experiment going? I am using some Increlex at the moment. It is something I kind of came across from someone that I trust, that it's real and reliable. So I said, hey, I may never come across this again, so let's give it a go. So far, I'm only like 1 week in. I'm actually probably going to shut it down because it just happened to work out badly that I'm about to go on a cruise soon, anyways. Not a cruise ship. I'm about to actually drop to um, just lower doses. I would say TRT, but it's not TRT. Um, so far, I've used Increlex for I don't know 6 days now, and I'm just using 250 micrograms pre-workout and 250 post-workout. Um, how's the experiment going? Really, what I've noticed from it so far, the best way to put it is it kind of feels like I've doubled my growth hormone dose, as well as it feels. I know feels is a weird word, but what I'm noticing is just like the performance seems similar to like a pre-workout Humalog and a post-workout Humalog, um, just like 10 times the strength. So, in my opinion, like what it feels like for me right now is like a super insulin, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Um, side effects are relatable to growth hormone, as far as like tightness of the hands. Um, I do not have any edema, outside a little bit of water retention, just from high carbohydrates being in the off season and stuff. So typical water, nothing. I don't have pitting edema or anything like that. Um, so the side effects would be closely correlated to what growth hormone would cause, and the benefits are similar to growth hormone and like insulin. And of course, that should probably make sense because it is IGF-1, right? So all that should not be a surprise. But yeah, that's what I'm noticing from it. Um, the pumps in the gym are obviously good. I never have issues really with pump. Um, even in contest prep, I don't pumps will get flatter, more flat, but I don't really ever like lose a pump. Um, I'll always find a way to get a decent workout, regardless of my food intake. So, needless to say, the Increlex experiment is going well. Um, it is something that I did get enough of that I can run plenty of it when I am ready to blast again or push the doses, whatever you guys want to call it. Raymond says, I can attest you look very large in person right now. You got to remember, uh, I'm also, pushing food and training very hard too. And that's not to take away from the Increlex, obviously. But it's good to remind everyone that this 6 days of Increlex did not all of a sudden make me 252 pounds, so but yeah, thank you for the compliment. I do feel good. Um, and the one thing, and I'll leave it at this: the pump seems to kind of stay around all day and even into the next day. And then certain like daily task will give you pumps, like typing on the keyboard and whisking your cream of rice. Um, silly shit, brushing your teeth, like I'll get a pump, so it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Let's see. Do. Guys, I'm just going to go in line here. So if you are chatting about Increlex down below, I'm not seeing it yet. I want to tackle David's question here. What is your favorite short quote about fitness, bodybuilding, gym, etc., like a motivational, inspirational? Um, the one thing I have a ton, dude. I'm a sucker for quotes. I'm a sucker for quotes. Um, not necessarily like posters. I think I think when a quote ends up being used for advertisement purposes, like it feels less genuine. But when like someone says something and it hits, it's like, oh, that's dope. Um, if I just had to pick one right now, and I don't even know why this one comes to mind, I don't know if it's my favorite. But the one I've always liked is just stop majoring in the minors, which means obviously just stop worrying about all the little shit and tackle the 95% of stuff that matters. Um, I got that from Jim Wendler. I don't know who originally said it. Who the fuck knows, right? Who knows who actually creates something? Um, but yeah, majoring in the minors is like one that always resonates with me, just to kind of bring you back to home base and remember that, you know, sleep, training, eating, those are the big movers. And then later on, PEDs, if that's something you choose to use. And then even when you get into those subcategories, don't complicate sleep, right? Get good quality, true, honest sleep. Um, Food, don't complicate food. Just get, good quality food in the appropriate quantity. Training, same thing, good quality training in the appropriate amounts. And then PEDs would be the same thing. Don't complicate them. So quit majoring in the minors would be the one that comes to mind right now. And I'll think of a million other ones later. I know and live and preach a ton of them. The other one that comes to mind that I've really always went back to is just be about it and stop talking about it. And that really resonates nowadays with the presence of social media, is that everyone wants to talk about being a bodybuilder and being hardcore and locked in and all these silly fucking phrases. Like some of the quotes I absolutely hate. They drive me crazy. But just be about it, don't talk about it, right? Be about what you are saying you're about. Truly live it, and then you don't have to talk about it. So that's one that I like. The other one I like is, if you ever have to explain to someone what you're doing and why you're doing it, they won't ever understand anyway. So don't even bother. So those are three good ones for you, David, to keep in mind. Okay, John with a good question. Some people like to increase carbs the day before or the day of training. A weaker body part they're trying to bring up. Which do you prefer and why? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've heard, I've done both, and I've heard two different things on why, and it doesn't matter. I've done both. Both are effective. Both are effective. So some people will say for hypertrophy and recovery purposes that having the high carbs on the day of would be more beneficial. The other people say for strength and uh, athletic performance purposes, the carbs the day or 2 days before would be more beneficial. I just don't think it matters. That's one of those things where majoring in the minors would come into play. Um, I like both. I like both. I've done both. They both work fine. Um, and then things change if you are a user of insulin. Obviously, you're going to need an increase of carbs on the day that you are using the insulin, right? Um, so yeah, both work well, John. I've done, like I said, I'll repeat it a million times. I've done both. They both work extremely well. Um, Honestly, what you eat today won't necessarily impact training as quickly as what you ate the day before. That's just my opinion. I do think it takes time to replenish glycogen and store glycogen and hydrate, at a cellular level. The day of training, what's going to be more um, a bigger bang for your buck is going to be electrolyte balance, um, how you're hydrating, how you're preparing for the session, whatever time of day that is, adequate electrolytes. That's going to be more impactful than the actual food. Um, so, yeah, like I said, both are important and both work. All right, let's try not to miss anything. Number 74. I've been in business since I was 19. I'm 55 now. I've never advertised 100% word of mouth. More work than I can handle for 30 plus years. Word of mouth is the bestest. 100%. 100%. 100%. That was our sole advertising for the heating and air business I worked for. Guys, you just do good by people. You take care of them, and hopefully they'll tell other people. Hopefully they'll tell other people. You do bad by people, I fucking promise you, they'll tell 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. They'll tell the internet if you fuck someone up or you fuck them over or you treat them like shit. But if you do good by people, they will share your name. And you really don't have to advertise. I do have a marketing team that just puts out like cheesy fucking Instagram posts for me. And that's really just so my profile is staying active and maybe my logo is being seen more times. But I really don't like push advertising hard. I did the cool video that my friend Chris made for me, which turned out really good, and I'm very happy that I did that. And yeah, but yeah, word of mouth is always going to be the best, you know. And then obviously on my end, just doing right by people the best I can. Thoughts on meal frequency? Why six may be better than five, and five be better than four? It doesn't matter. I think four ends up not being enough, depending on how many hours you are awake. Um, Six might be better for people that want to perform at a high level. Five is fine because you got to remember, like, when I write diets, I generally have them six unless people are opposed. But one of the meals is like cereal and protein. That's not a fucking meal, guys. That's a snack. My 2-year-old could eat that, you know, and be ready for dinner. Cereal and a protein shake is not a meal. So I write it as a meal, but most of you guys are eating 5 meals. The people that are on six, they're pretty much eating five. A protein shake and cereal, that's a snack. I just don't see it as a meal. I'm ravenous like 1 hour after I eat cereal and protein, you know. But yeah, the reason meal frequency at a higher frequency could be better is just to keep a consistent flow of amino acids in the blood at all time. Um, you know, and then having the meals a bit smaller because they're broken into six is going to just be more easier to get down. So, but yeah, I honestly, I do have people on 3 meals. I hate it. I do not like when people only want to do 3 meals. I think it's partly lazy, and I just don't think it's enough. But that's their choice, and they are genuine when they say this is all I can do. So if that's all you can do, I'm not going to set you up for failure by giving you six. Um, Peyton has a question. Doing my first show in 25 years. Okay, yeah, first show in 25 years. Can you run through a checklist of general show prep, show day stuff to be ready, and where's the best place to get trunks? I think there's a document that I put out on Chase's forum of all of this. Um, I think. If not, I'll double check because Scott Mize and I put together a document together. So Scott and I collaborated on like a Word document, and we added like tanning instructions and all these other different things. I'll try to find that for you, Peyton. The best place for trunks, in my opinion, right now, is Crystal's Bikinis. Joseph Percher has a discount code. Maybe someone can drop it in the chat. I think it's JP10. If someone wants to look at his Instagram and pull up his link tree. You can drop that in the chat for Peyton. I believe it's JP10, and that's Crystal's Bikinis. It's an Etsy website. She's super responsive, super helpful with anything you need as far as sizing and measuring and everything like that. So she is the one who I get my trunks from and who I send my clients now to get their trunks done. David said, I love those quotes. I agree with how you feel about them too. Was just curious. Yeah. Yeah, those are good ones. I have a million. I could literally speak in quotes all day long. I just love them. Peyton says something like motivation fades, consistent habits build progress. Yep, I agree. What is your least favorite quote? I'll think of one. I'll think of one. There has to be like a million that I don't like. Let me think of one for you, John. I'm trying to keep this positive at the beginning of the show until I start getting stimulated on my nicotine and caffeine, and then I'll start talking shit. Yeah. DLC going to be making TJ merch with quotes. I'm down to pre-order. Yeah, David and I are. David is making these shirts for me, and I'm going to have a discount code for all of you guys. I will start dropping links in my Instagram. They'll be in the emails. They'll be on my website. So look out for that stuff. This weekend, I'm going to start putting together some initial announcements. I didn't want to flood him right away because he just got his operation going and he's a busy man. So he will get a lot of orders, even from my family and stuff. They'll want that stuff too. But yeah, DLC will be making Tommy John coaching merch as well as obviously the Omega stuff. So we'll be selling these shirts as well. But yeah, we'll have lots of merch coming. Amy said the quote of "Get it in where you can for." Get it in where you can for it in. That's what she's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Steve, stop giving away secrets. Mark says, how do you set up your workouts to keep it at an hour max? I think if anyone's workouts are going into an hour and a half plus, I think you're just being lazy in the gym. I think you're fucking wasting time. I think you're lousy. I'm just being honest. Love you all, but man, if you guys are fucking around in the gym, we have nothing in common. I train with another person, with Raymond Matthew. We train together. We still are out of that gym in 1 hour. We are still out of that gym in 1 hour. And of course, that's not with cardio, but yeah, a workout should only take an hour. I don't know what you guys are doing. I can fucking destroy myself in 1 hour. Literally destroy myself. So I mean, you're either dragging ass or you're just doing too much. You're just doing a bunch of wasted shit. Yeah, I wanted to grab that, David. I wanted to get to that. It is Crystal's birthday today. So everyone wish Crystal a happy birthday. She's the ripe age of 22 years old. Christopher Christensen, what up, my dude? Just saying hi. First posing practice about to start. Let's get it. Yeah. Christopher is in prep, contest prep. I have a lot of people in prep right now. Tons of fun. Guys, I fucking love prepping people. It's exhilarating. I feel like I'm doing like 12 different shows right now. It's so much fun. Amy says 3 meals a day sounds like sadness. It's pure sadness. It's absolutely pure fucking sadness. It really is. Crunchy in the house. Hello, Tommy. He says, Mark has the document saved, so we will publish that for you, Peyton. We'll get that out. Maybe I'll put it in an email. Um, maybe Steve can help me like organize it, make it look nice, and we'll send it out to you guys. Um, yeah, David said it might be in there, but yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it. I think I literally have it in my cell phone, so I can always send it out too. Okay, David has, or I'm sorry, Raymond has the link here for Crystal's bikinis, and the code is JP123. So shout out to Joseph Percher. Shout out to Crystal's bikinis. Oh, I can only pin one message at a time, and I have my website pinned up there. So, but yeah, Crystal's bikinis. It's an Etsy link, and then code JP123. I gotta pee real quick. Sorry, guys. We're only 25 minutes in. I'm already fucking up. I'll be right back. Keep each other company and drop more questions. Okay, sorry about that. Joseph, if you had to start your coaching business over from scratch in 2026, how would you go about it? I have no fucking clue. I'm just going to be honest. I have no clue, dude. The truth is, my coaching business blew up because of Chase. I'm just going to be honest. Of course, I know my shit and I'm confident in what I do. I've been coaching a long time, and I did a lot of my coaching for free for a long, long time. Chase trusts me enough to put my name out there and really help me blow up. So if I'm just being 100% transparent, if I didn't have him in my corner, I don't know if my coaching business would be as successful as it is right now. And of course, now where I am now is because of all of you guys, and you constantly putting my name out there and helping me out in that way. But I will actually answer your question. If I wanted to start a coaching business now, I would start coaching people for free. This is pretty much how I started my business, anyways. Except I always have to mention Chase, because I just would not be where I am without him. I really believe that in full certainty. Um, if I had to start a coaching business now from scratch, I would be coaching for free, and I would be spending a lot of money on education, which I still do. Last year, I probably spent close to 40 grand on mentorships. That's not an exaggeration. That's not an exaggeration. Between Dom Kuza, AJ Sims, Phil Viz, I Skip. I've spent a lot of money on mentorships just last year. Um, so I would constantly be learning from others and paying them for their knowledge and going to people who I trust and believe it. And I would be that already are successful at coaching. I'd be learning from them as much as I can, paying as much money as it takes. That's how you build any business. You go find someone who's already done it really well and pay them to teach you how to do it. As far as the knowledge of learning nutrition, gear, digestion, all the stuff that goes into coaching, training, that just requires time and practice. So start coaching people for free and then start coaching friends and family for money. And then just build from there. Just do right by people, treat everyone well, give everyone the attention that they deserve and need. Always be there for them. And man, just it just takes time. It just takes time. That's how I do it, and that is how I did it. Like I said, I just have to mention Chase because there's no way, guys, that I would have blown up as much as my bit. I'm just being fully transparent. I think it's rare that too many people have as many clients as I do in the amount of time that I've had an LLC. I'm just being fully honest. And a part of that is because of Chase. A lot of that is because of Chase, not just part of it. Um, so man, I got lucky. I'm just being honest. And that's not to discredit my knowledge and things like that, because I've also been in the industry for, since I was 13, I started studying and learning about this stuff. So over 21 years now, of just learning and being under a bar, being in a gym, being around people smarter than me, always paying people to learn from them, always giving people respect that I did when I learned something from someone else. I always try to credit them for it. So yeah, it's like any business. You find someone that's already done it better than you, or someone that's successful in what you're pursuing, and learn from them and pay them, and they're going to charge you a lot because they should. Raymond says, to be honest, I think a lot of people take way too long of rest periods. Yeah, 100%. 100%. John says, I time my rest periods for consistency. You can. You can. Um, I always just say go when you're ready. Um, but like you should be ready to go after like a minute if you're training arms, shoulders, and shit like that. Back and chest might be 2 to 3 minutes, legs 2 to 3 minutes, but Raymond and I are pretty much back to back. When I'm off the machine, he's on it. Half the time, I'm pushing him off the fucking machine to get on it. And that's not because he's slow. It's just because I'm ready to go, you know? Um, so yeah, if your training is taking long, um, it's a you problem more than likely. More than likely, it's on you for time management. Crystal in the house. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Crystal. Glad you're here for this educational experience. Crystal says Chase is the man. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be fucking yeah. Yeah, I can't even go into that. I'll get emotional. Um Peyton Stone. Let me close this window so this stops fucking. All right, I'll just sweat my ass off. It's okay. Peyton says, I've been providing free help to family, friends, coworkers for a while. Um, some of them want to start legit coaching, referring me to other. Yeah. I think one good thing is when people start offering you money and you didn't have to ask them. When people start offering to pay you, which is what happened with me, that is when um that's when you got something. That's when you got something. So do shit for free, and then when people offer to pay you, it's like, okay, fair enough. You know. Um, as far as the other thing, Joseph, like you're always gonna feel imposter syndrome. I promise. There's just always going to be someone that's more knowledgeable on some sort of thing. There's going to be shit you've never heard of. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be someone smarter than us. And it all comes back to just taking really good care of your clients and building rapport and trust and just keeping their best interest in mind while achieving and surpassing their goals. That's all it is. It's a service industry, bro. It's a service industry. So just deliver really good service. That's all. I know some very knowledgeable coaches and they have no fucking client retention because they do not know how to deliver service. They will not respond for 5, 6, 7, 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? So, yeah. Just says, thanks for the golden nugget. Yeah. Hope that helps. Number 74 said, little man in the background, good morning. Yeah, he will come in and out as he pleases. So he'll come in, break shit, and then just peace out. Alex G in the house. What up, dude? Is managing caffeine intake really as crucial as people say it is for health? Yes. Yeah. For health, I don't know. I mean, you could fuck up some caffeine and probably be okay. But yeah, people way overuse caffeine, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you're relying so heavily on caffeine, it's likely a sleep issue. You're just not getting good quality sleep. And I know your schedule can be a little weird. I would never abuse caffeine. I love it too much. Yeah, exactly, David. Yeah. Add that to my quotes of things I love. Yeah, it's like as far as is it really as crucial for health? I don't know, dude. I fuck up a lot of caffeine. I average 200 to 300 a day, which is like not too bad. I also use nicotine. Um, and I get echocardiograms and my heart still looks okay. But you know, yeah, dude, it's a stimulant. The other thing is the what it does to the central nervous system is uh if you're always flying in a sympathetic drive, if you're always just running on high and you can't switch over to parasympathetic, it's going to disrupt other things in your life. You're never going to quite get like good digestion. You're never going to get quality deep sleep. So like caffeine, as far as health, I look at it as the side effects are actually not like obvious things like blood pressure, heart. I look at it as things like you're likely not going to get deep restful sleep. You're going to your body's going to feel under stress all the time when it's so heavily stimulated. And really being able to shift into a parasympathetic state can improve your health a lot. A lot of different things. A lot of different things will improve. Just being able to handle stress will be different when you can learn to shift to a parasympathetic state. So yeah, that's how I look at it. Peyton says you can also help your workouts by shortening by removing junk volume. I don't think junk volume's a thing. I think it's just a trendy word. Adding in more top sets, FST 7 sets, and other intensifiers. I want to get more out of each rep and set. You can have a ton of fucking volume and still finish your workout in under an hour. People are just fucking off on their cell phone or they're talking to their friends. And bro, I've been in gyms. You have too. You know what the actual issue is. People are not in the gym too long because they're just training so hard. They're fucking off, bro. They're fucking off. They're talking 10, 15 minutes in between sets. It's not because they're doing junk volume, dude. I promise. I would be hard pressed to find anyone that's doing too much volume. That's why their workout's long. Raymond and I finished an entire fucking leg workout today while, three guys were talking. It's like, bro, no, it's junk volume is not the thing. We do a fuck ton of volume and we still finish our workout in an hour. Melmac in the house. Everyone's career always involved. Someone willing to give them a chance. I agree. Take advantage of them when they come and put in the hard work to put yourself successful from there. Well, don't take advantage of people, Mel. No, yeah, no. Like I said, I can't say it enough that I wouldn't be where I am without Chase. Um, yeah, I'll say that till the day I'm dead, which could be soon. Smalls in the house. What up? What up, dog? What's happening? Small says, Sup, G? Hope the Saturday is going well. It is. It's going well. Full of Increlex and about to be full of Ghost and nicotine. So, man, I'm living the dream, bro. My heart is just growing by the second. Peyton says client-centered care and communication is an entire course. Yeah. Just take care of people and be kind. That's all. It's not fucking rocket science, just to deliver a good service when people are paying you for a fucking service. J Money, how is back going, Austin? Oh, have you seen his back? His back's doing okay. Yeah, Crystal knows. People on their fucking phones. That's why your workouts are taking more than an hour. Fucking damn it. Raymond picked up his cell phone once just to look at our workout, and I yelled at him. And I've never seen his cell phone ever again. I've never seen his cell phone ever again, unless he's changing a song. He's my dude. He's my dude. He learned that fucking quick. He's like, oh, we don't do this. Cool. That's it. Guess what? We finish our workout in 1 hour. All of our workouts. It doesn't matter what fucking body part it is. Nothing. Yeah, he goes, heard. Yes, chef. No cell phones? Yes, chef. Okay. J Money, I've done my whole amount of sets during people's rest periods. Yeah, that's what I fucking mean, dude, for sure. 100%. And guys, like when I say Raymond and I do a lot of volume, some of our sets are long as fuck too. Sometimes we're doing cluster sets that take like 6 minutes, So like, yeah. I don't know. Tom in the house. Hey, meatheads. Hey, Amy's here too. You better show some respect. She's kind of a meathead, but not so bad. Crystal's kind of a meathead too, but it's her birthday, so. Fast Eddie in the house. There's an asshole at my gym that is always on his phone. Oh my god. I gently remind him to knock it off and get to work. Oh, and I work out at my own gym. Fucking Eddie. I love that. I love it. Peyton says the only time I use my phone is to hit reset on my rest period. Yeah, or change the song. I don't even change the song on my phone, or I try not to, but I'll just use my headphones, like the gesture. And then I can skip songs that way. But sometimes we'll use a timer for certain styles of sets and shit and whatever. Sometimes I look at my workout because Danny has my workout in an app. I generally know it before I'm going in to the gym. But a lot of the times I'll look at it quickly just so I don't miss anything. J Money said phone comes out for the logbook and occasional song change. I wouldn't even logbook on your phone anymore, dude. I would bring in a fucking actual piece of paper and a pen. Because here's what happens, Jay. If your phone's on do not disturb, maybe. But here's what happens. You're gonna get a shitty fucking text message one day while you're training. It's gonna ruin your workout. It's gonna ruin your fucking workout. Your brother's gonna text you, hey, we gotta work late tonight, and you're gonna be like, fuck. Hey, we gotta work this weekend. You're like, fuck, I thought I had this weekend off. And then it's gonna ruin your workout because it's gonna be in your head the whole time. So yeah, dude, I don't risk it. Nothing. Can't wait until my fucking workout's done. Guys, come on. Crystal says, I'm a meathead. It's the nicest thing someone has said to me recently. Happy birthday wasn't nice from all of us. You'd rather be called a meathead. Okay. David has a question for all of you guys. We're doing custom client shirts. Do you guys want Tommy's lab rat with a design or a quote or one of quote like one of the ones Tommy comes up with? Raymond says like it could be about it, something like that. Yeah, so let us know. Let us know what you guys are looking for. Let me dig in to John says he likes the lab rat idea. That's because he wants me to give him Increlex. Yeah. Okay. J Money said the logbook on the phone is available for Austin to look through as well. Fuck that guy, bro. Fuck that guy. Logbook on a piece of paper and send him a fucking picture, bro. Tell him to kiss your ass. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. These questions are from the email list. Mail him the book away. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fucking, yeah. Just send him, send him the whole logbook with your sweat and everything on it. The first question of the day from the email list, TommyJohnCoaching.com. Sign up for the email list. Your favorite bodybuilder and why? This is from Amanda John, my wife, my partner in crime. Excuse me while I mute this to open my ghost. Okay. First question from Amanda John. Favorite bodybuilder and why? I have a lot of bodybuilders that I could pick for this. My mind always goes to Sean Clarita. Always. And then the follow-up question is why? The world could fucking disappear and Sean will still find a way to bodybuild. If there's anyone that is about bodybuilding, be about it, don't talk about it. It's Sean Clarita. Guys, here's the other good, best thing about Sean. He still wants to learn, dude. He still wants to learn. He's been in the game forever. Sorry, I don't mean to age him like that. Fuck, sorry. He's been in the game for a long time and he still wants to learn and he still learns from other people and he's not so fucking hard-headed. And that dude will out-train anyone, dude. Fuck. I literally can just feel the passion come from him when he's talking or watching him train. Like, I just don't think there's many people that love it as much as Sean. And I just think he's a kind person. I think he cares about his other competitors and he's rooting for everyone. And he's just so fucking grateful that he can bodybuild. He gets to bodybuild. He knows he doesn't have to. He says, this is what I get to do. He's so fucking happy about that. He just feels so incredibly grateful and lucky that he gets to bodybuild. I mean, there's just not a lot of people like him in the space. I mean, there's quite a few. I won't say that. There's a ton of bodybuilders that I really, really like, and a lot of it is for the same reason. But I just think that No one is about it as much as Sean. There's just like I don't think I don't know. I'll stop there. So I don't just keep talking in circles. But yeah, Sean Clarita is my favorite bodybuilder. Um, full stop. Hardest part about bodybuilding is the next question from Amanda John. Um, this one's tough to answer, but mostly the hardest part about bodybuilding is there's there's never really a time to be comfortable, like really ever. There's like a short window of time where where bodybuilding is quote unquote comfortable. Um, but like when you're trying to grow and get bigger, your clothes are tighter. It's harder to fall asleep because your head is so far away from the pillow because your shoulders are wider and um, you're just you're just uncomfortable. You don't necessarily feel fat, but you just feel big and just heavy and like everything's a task when you're trying to gain size. When you're dieting, obviously things are uncomfortable because you're hungry and um, everything like that. The workouts can be a little more um, strenuous just because you don't have the energy. And then when you get heavy, sometimes you don't have the energy. Um, all day long is just bodybuilding stuff. Eating your food is can be uncomfortable. The workouts are uncomfortable. And it's just bodybuilding in a nutshell. In a nutshell, if you ever want to be like okay at it, you have to just understand that you're going to be uncomfortable all the fucking time. All the time for a long time. And that means part of that being uncomfortable means just being disciplined and being able to follow a diet and a strict lifestyle. Because the lifestyle can be strict. And I know I've had a lot of clients that they're just like, hey, I don't know if I can live this lifestyle. And I'm like, it's okay. That's okay. It's just not for you. We need to find a different thing for you. But in order to look your best, literally physically look your best, it requires that lifestyle, that uncomfortable lifestyle, the disciplined lifestyle, the one that if anyone ever had to ask why you do it, you can't explain it to them because it wouldn't even be worth explaining to them because if they have to ask you, they wouldn't understand. But bodybuilding is so incredibly uncomfortable in so many ways. And this is not me complaining. Don't get me wrong. It is literally just me answering the question of what is the hardest part about bodybuilding. It's just being content, being uncomfortable all the time, being comfortable, being uncomfortable all the fucking time. And like you truly have to believe that, and you have to be okay with it. You have to look at it in a sense of, oh man, I get to do this. I get to do this because when something like an injury comes about and you realize you can't train, you fucking just miss it so much. You just miss it so much, you know? Yeah, that's the hardest part about bodybuilding is it's literally just so incredibly uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for the people around you. It can strain relationships. It can strain everything. Everything can strain, your performance at work. Like, man, yeah. Yeah, that's the hardest part about bodybuilding is just being a bodybuilder. Joseph asks, do you think a movement like pec deck or cable fly is better programmed as an opener to the workout or at the end um, once the heavy pressing is done? Either one. If I'm going to open with some sort of fly movement, I'm not really going to emphasize the stretch as much as I would as if it's at the end of the workout. But yeah, I think a fly is totally fine to open with. It's just I'm not gonna put a huge emphasis on the stretch part of the movement, but I would put a large emphasis on um the stretch portion at the end of a workout. You ask why? It should be obvious that going into deep stretches when the muscle is pretty cold, um, that's just not going to be a good call. But I still think a fly is a great opener. And why is it better at the end? Um, like I said, you either one works fine. Um, at the end, I would just put more emphasis on the stretch because everything is full of blood and warm, and then that's a nice time to stretch a muscle and really allow the muscle to expand and let the nutrients flow and everything like that. Um, these guys are talking about shirt designs. Tommy's Lab Rat. Um, be about it. Yeah, those are good ideas. Yeah, that's a good question, Joseph. But yeah, like I know it's a shitty answer, but it's truthful. Either one is fine. I've opened with cable flies plenty of times, or pec deck machine or fly machine, whatever. You can certainly open with those movements. Like I said, I just wouldn't hang out and stretch for a long time. John asked, "Would you run Increlex and insulin together? How would you go about it?" I don't think it's necessary. I'm using a small dose of Lantus with the Increlex. So I'll take some Lantus in the morning, and then Increlex essentially replaced my pre and post Humalog. Not essentially, it did. So I'm using Increlex in place of Humalog at this point. Jay said it was cool seeing Sean Clarita's gym on the Mutant on a Mission with Ron Partlow. Yeah. Raymond said to top it off, Sean is humble, talked several times. He just reeks of passion and kindness. Yeah, Sean is the fucking man for sure. Amy said, I'm good with any design. Love to get stringers or tanks for his t-shirts. Yeah, we're open to that, Amy, for sure. Yeah, David's only gonna put out high quality shit, guys. So we're not gonna put out fucking, I don't know, what's a cheap t-shirt brand? Like fucking Gildan? Is that a cheap one? I think so. But yeah, we're gonna put out high quality shit. I say we, it's David. Sorry, David. Um, Raymond said you get the first 4 weeks of prep, which is comfortable. Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, when you first start a diet, you feel really good. But it's still not comfortable because the training is so good and the training is just really hard then. So ZR in the house. What up, dude? EQ, the only compound that takes my hematocrit up around 54, 55 versus others where I'll range anywhere from 49 to 52. Would you just say EQ is not for me in this case? Hydration's not an issue. I'm curious on your thoughts. I mean, man, like hematocrit's only one blood marker. And I know like people might have a heart attack from hearing that, but it's only one blood marker. And 54, 55 is not that fucking elevated. You know what I'm saying? That's not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a stupid fucking meathead, but I've run a lot of equipoise. um, and 54, 55, bro, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I would do proactive things like nattokinase, maybe some baby aspirin, or even a powdered aspirin. But you got to be careful; it can cause some gut and stomach issues. Um, so you may, if you're not already, do some of those proactive things. Hemoflow, Leviathan Nutrition would be a good option. Um, I am affiliated with them. You can use code Tommy, or you can use Morphogen's Nutrition Kidney Supplement, which also has nattokinase as well as many other things that would be anti-clotting type shit. Um, so those are two options for you. I do not have an affiliation with Morphogen, but yeah, either one is good. Or you can get some nattokinase from fucking Now Foods, you know. But yeah, and you'll want to watch your make sure your fish oil dose is adequate. I know you ZR, or I know you enough that I don't have to explain all this stuff to you, because I'm sure you have a lot of that stuff in already. But would I just write off EQ because my hematocrit is like a couple points above range? No, dude, I wouldn't. It's literally the purpose of the drug is to raise your hematocrit. Um, and that's going to change depending on what season you're in. Like if you're cutting, that hematocrit is not going to be that high. But if you're pushing for size, that's where some of that hematocrit increase is coming from. John says Comfort Colors has good blanks. David, uh, David quotes ZR, hydration is not an issue. Can you tell us how much water you're drinking? David, he's actually a guy that I would take that. I would take the hydration, not an issue. He's a guy that I would take that literal, where I wouldn't worry as much about him as like a stranger. But I know of ZR from way back in Discord. He said it's not that I don't believe you, but it gives us better context. Yeah, it's always a fair question. Fast Eddie said my old powerlifting coach constantly said become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah, I hated that shit, but it's always rang true. Yeah, it's in business, it's in body, it's in everything. It's in everything. It's in everything. You know, like literally, you finding ways to get uncomfortable is really how you get better at anything. Amy said exactly. They wouldn't even understand if we tried to explain why we do what we do. Yep, totally agree. Um, Andreas, what up, dude? Oh, you're trying to get me in trouble here. Thoughts on Paul Carter's training philosophy? It seems very popular at the moment. I don't have any thoughts on it because I don't think about it. No, I'm just kidding. It's whatever, dude. It's whatever. I just um I'm not gonna bash the guy as much as I could. Um I j- I think here's the issue. We assume that we know Paul Carter's whole training philosophy just because of what he puts out on the internet. If I sat down with Paul Carter and we talked training, I think we would agree on a lot of shit, dude. Or if we train together, I think we would end up doing a lot of shit that is the same. So, like, I think we take what people put out on the internet and we say, this person absolutely thinks this and this only. I really think it's a different story when you get in the gym with that person and you actually train with them. You're like, oh, you just do the same shit as me. Everyone's doing the same shit at the end of the day. Um, Paul is more absolute on a lot of his stances, but I still really believe that if I sat in a room with Paul and we chatted training, there wouldn't be anything where I'm like, "You're so fucking stupid." It would be like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever, that makes sense." And then I would tell him what I do, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I know why you're doing that." He's like, "But I don't do that." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I know why you're doing that, but I don't do what you're doing." Okay, cool. And then we would go train together, and we would both end up doing each other's stuff. Like, dude, I've literally seen that firsthand. Where I'm just like, "Oh, this guy's a science-based trainer," and then you train with him, and it's like brothers doing drop sets and shit, and you're like, "I thought you don't do those," and it's like, "Oh no, like." I just explain them to it's just like it all ends up being the same, honestly. So my thoughts on Paul Carter's training philosophy, I don't think we know his true training philosophy unless we get in the gym with him and train with him. What he puts out on the internet, I just don't like how everything is absoluted and just like this, right? I just don't love that. But like I said, I think if Paul and I got in the gym together and we were training together, I think we would both have a lot of fun. I think we would both get a great workout. You know what I mean? So yeah, Gildan and Haynes, those are trash blanks, says David. Alex G, I remember when Rich Piana was looking for Increlex and would get pissed off because he couldn't find it. Yeah, it's not an easy one. Not an easy one to get. Peyton, the show checklist that you're asking for is now in the form. ChaseIronsForm.com. J Money said discomfort is the trade off for progression. Comfort is often complacency. Adapting to the uncomfortable is where you grow. Yep. Crunchy with an update on his EAAs that he thought was making him nauseous or giving him like some sort of reflux. He said, "You were right. It was not the EAAs." Fucking Crunchy, I know I'm right, bro. I know this, but I love you. You were right. It was not the EAA making me nauseous. It was eating too close to the workout and putting too many drink powders in my 40 ounces. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, the body's sensitive around training, you know. The we want to distribute the blood to the muscles, but like if you got all this fucking shit in your stomach, the blood has to stay in this pooling in the stomach to try to break down all that fucking garbage you put in there. Not garbage. I know you're not eating junk, but you know what I mean. Just like a lot of different powders, um, fluids sloshing around, like all that shit, you know. So yeah, and then you said the meal was likely too close to the workout. That's another huge one. Depending on what the meal is. I mean, some guys and girls can take 30 carbs, 40 carbs from cream of rice and like 25 grams of protein from protein powder. They'll be ready to train in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, if it's a meal like chicken and rice, beef and rice, steak and eggs and potatoes, like that would be a heavy one where you'd have to give that some time, you know. So it really depends on what that meal looks like and what it contains. That will determine the uh, the duration of time you have to wait to train. Uh, J Money, where do you think the fine line is between muscle fucking some weight and focusing on strength progression versus slow, high quality reps when someone is building their base in their early years? Um, you gotta find the line, dude. The line's different for everyone, bro. Um, you first got to make sure that you're like doing the movement correct, safely, effectively. And then sometimes you got to just like give it, right? Sometimes you just got to push the button and just like let it fly. Um, but man, there's just, I think you'll know. I wish I could give you like a perfect answer, but man, I think you'll know. I think you'll know. And there's certain movements that, you know, there's training for limit strength, there's training for hypertrophy, there's training for rate of force development. There's different applications and end goals that we can train for, right? Um, so if you're training for force development, that might look like muscle fucking to someone, but like you have intention behind it. You're just training it explosively. Um, But I mean, really everything should be in control to a point. Um, that's just my opinion. I think you should really just find that line for yourself. And I wish I could explain it better. Um, but there comes a point where you're leaning onto passive tissue, ligaments, skeleton, as opposed to keeping it directed towards, you know, what would be active, which you want to be the muscle, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's certain movements where you just kind of gotta get after them a little, like a barbell row or a dumbbell row. Like sometimes you just gotta give it a little bit. T-bar row is another one where sometimes you got to bang it a little bit. Um, certain leg stuff probably could use some RFD, rate of force development. Um, some compound like pressing stuff sometimes could use some giver, and then something like a single arm lat pull down. Like you probably don't want to be muscle fucking that. You know what I mean? Like you probably want some control behind it. Yeah, I don't think you ever need to train like a robot. And that's the problem, Jay, and that's why it's hard for anyone to explain because week to week it's going to change. And some days it's best off that you stay tight and controlled. And then maybe you do that for a couple weeks and then you're like shit's feeling really good, so then you start getting after it. And sometimes you got to back off a little bit, and it's all about dancing with your body, dude. It's all about listening to your body and just dancing with your body and just making the right call. Um, but I mean, I think you'll know if you're being an asshole with something. That like your question, where do you think the fine line is between muscle fucking some weight and keeping it slow, high quality reps? That would be like, Jay, where's the fine line between having a cheat meal that's kind of cleanish, but also like tastes good and somewhat junk, right? The question is kind of like, I mean, it's going to change based off opinion. It's going to change off individuals. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jay says I found my presses have stalled after getting really strong, and I'm needing to pull back for quality focus. Where some of the movements like RDLs and barbell rows still get sloppier. Well, think about that, dude. I mean, a press is always going to stall before a lower body movement. Always, always, especially when you're dieting. Especially when you're dieting. But bro, it's just simple math, right? So for like just whatever numbers, let's say you can squat 400 pounds, 10% of 400 would be 40 pounds, right? Okay. Can you bench 400 and squat 400? I don't think so. So, if someone squats 400, 10% progression would be 40 pounds. If you still want a 10% progression on upper body, you likely bench 250 if you're squatting 400. So 10% progression would be 25 pounds. You see how they're not the same, but it's still 10%. So it's still a big rate of progression. It's just the um, the actual number is just going to change in that regard. Oh, Joseph. This is hard. He said C8 Corvette, M4, or an RS5. Bro. Mm, that one's hard for me, dude. That one's really fucking challenging. I've had so many Volkswagens that I'm going to write off the RS5 as much as I love that car. I would write it off. Between an M4 and a C8 Vet, oof, I'm gonna go with the M4. Today. Today, I'm gonna pick the M4. If you ask me tomorrow, it might be the Vet. The reason I would pick the M4 right now is just all the whistling and fun turbo sounds and all the shit. You know what I mean? The dual clutch transmission. I'd if I had an M4, I would want the DSG, the dual clutch transmission, as opposed to a manual. Even though typically I like standard transmissions because I like shifting gears. Um, but that M4 transmission is so sick, dude. And they sound so cool because they shift so fucking fast. I would bang on an M4 right now. Yeah, that's what I would go with. That's what I would go with today. But that, like I said, you ask me tomorrow, it damn well might be that C8 Corvette. Unless the C8 Corvette was twin turboed, then we're having a different conversation. Jay said, appreciate your thoughts. It's definitely a nuanced personal question, trying to focus more on riding that line and alternating between the two. You do need both. You do need both. You don't want to make everything like a fucking robot. And then you don't want to just bang on everything. Because even though you're a young guy, you still want integrity of the joints and tendons because you will fuck them up. You will fuck them up. All right, I had another question here. Oh, this is a long one. All right, you guys drop more questions. I have to pee again. I'm sorry. I train legs today. So keep each other busy, please. Damn, y'all loyal. Didn't lose any of you? You're crazy. Unless you guys are just fucking that bored. Ah, this one from Christopher. I'm gonna butcher the shit out of this because there's so many words. Would it be appropriate for a novice bodybuilder to pay closer attention to exercise selection during prep? Okay, it continues. Is it too late at this point? Is it too late at this point, or potentially leaving other more important things on the table by adjusting? Here's the context. He's currently running John Meadows Gamma Bomb and feel there are one or two underdeveloped areas that could be better served by a specific exercise. If it is appropriate, how should I go about incorporating it into the program? Is there a point in prep where you would reduce volume or the split at all? An example, going from 5 days to four. If so, how would you identify that and approach that? Um, he said he won't make the live, but he'll catch the replay. So the first question, he's basically asking like, hey, during prep, is it worth focusing on weak points? I think that's like kind of the first question. Um, but he specifies about being a novice bodybuilder. Guys, novice bodybuilders, your entire body's a weak point. I love y'all. I love you all. A novice bodybuilder does not have specific weak points unless it's like so glaringly fucking obvious. But a novice bodybuilder, your body is a weak point. And I mean that respectfully. All I mean by that is you're new to it, right? So, you know, let's say you're new to driving. You don't look for ways to modify the car and start drifting the car and start racing the car. You got to learn how to drive first, So a novice bodybuilder, everything needs to get better. Everything needs to get better. Is it too late at this point because he's, X amount of weeks out is what he means by that. So he's asking if he should change the Gamma Bomb program around that could be better served. So the thing he can do, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Gamma Bomb program, but it's set up in like frequency waves. One frequency is geared towards the upper body, the other is geared towards the lower body. I think he's talking about his weakness being his lower body, just from past conversations we've had. So yeah, if I would just rerun that second half of the program if he wanted to. Um, so keep the high frequency for lower body instead of shifting over to the second half of the program. Just rerun the other half twice. Is there a point in prep where you would reduce volume? Yeah. Or just to split it all? Yeah. There's definitely a point in prep where you can reduce volume for sure. Is it like, is it 6 weeks out? Is it 5 weeks out? Is it 4? I don't know. It's all individual. So you have to call those audibles in the gym as an athlete. Just because something's written in a program does not mean it's written in stone. And you have to learn how to call audibles. You can't cheat on a training program. Like, you can to a point, but it's not the same thing as following a diet. Like, for example, like there's a day you're going to walk in there and something doesn't feel right. Just don't do it. Just do something else. Um, it's not really the same with following a diet, but like training programs are not written in stone. If you look at like training being the athletic event towards bodybuilding, like you have to learn how to be your own referee and call audibles and be your own coach in the gym and call audibles. Because I'm not there with you guys at the gym. Um, so you have to learn how to make those adjustments yourself. So yeah, there comes a point in prep where you're like, man, I'm smoked. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to move on to cardio, move on to practicing posing, whatever it may be, and I'm done. Would I reduce or change training frequency? Was his other question. An example, like going from 5 days to 4 days? Probably not. And the reason is because generally when I structure diets, you have a training day and a non-training day. If all of a sudden you were training 6 days and then you switch to like 3 or 4, now the total calories for the week really fucking changed around. So that can throw things off. But if we strategically do it together, then it's fine. But that's something like training frequency matters because of the diet. So if you were eating 6 training day menus a week and then you move to 4, that's going to change things, right? So that's something to keep in mind about adjusting frequency. I had a question come in the chat here. Jay asked, let's see. Mm-mm-mm. Jay said, "What about things like moving certain free weights movements to machines?" What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I mean, it's totally fine, but I just want to make sure that I know um, what you mean by that. While we wait for Jay, Fast Eddie says, "I've dropped 70 pounds since August." Oh, Christopher's in the house. Good, dude. Hopefully, some of that answers your question, bro. Um, Fast Eddie said, "I dropped 70 pounds since August. That's huge. Good job, dude. And things are starting to slow down, as they will. But okay, drastically. Oh, slow down drastically. With seeing the physique change. How do I mentally push past this? It's been very hard on him," he says. Um, August. Okay, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, bro. You're in the thick of a diet. Um, 8, 9 months of dieting is a long time. Um, Things have slowed down drastically with seeing progression is what he means, I believe, in his physique. How do I mentally push past this? It's been hard on me. I mean, you could do a few things, Eddie. Like, I don't know how low your food got. Like, I don't know where your food is at right now. But if you have to take a few weeks to build the calories back up, and get that metabolism spinning again, there's nothing really wrong with that. I have to do that with a lot of my clients who just have like quite a bit of fat to lose when they come to me. It's a process, man. It's a fucking process, and it's unfortunate, but you can't just like keep running your fucking body into the ground. Um, like I find that 24, 26, 30 weeks of dieting is like almost the complete max before it's time to reintroduce some food. Um, you can offset that quite a bit with like cheat meals and stuff to a point, but then at some point, you just need to start rebuilding that metabolism, rebuilding the amount of calories that are available to then start dropping back down, right? Um, so yeah, and like I don't know like what other levers you have available to you. I don't know what type of like peptides you're running, what type of pharmaceuticals you're running, anything like that. So sometimes if you have other levers to pull, you can do that too. But I mean, you've been dieting since August. It's now end of March. You're getting to a point where it might be worth looking into um, reducing some of the cardio, depending on how much you're doing, increasing that food, rebuilding that metabolism, taking off some overall stress on the body. Man, even taking a week off training might be a good idea. Just give yourself a little reset. Maybe take 2 to 5 weeks to slowly start bumping up the food, um, get that metabolism going again, and then you have more room. You have more of a ceiling to start dieting back down again. That's probably what you're going to have to do, just based off what you said. Um, David makes a good point. Taking progress pictures, looking back on them helps when the scale isn't moving. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point too. But yeah, because your question was how do I mentally push past this? I basically didn't even answer your question. How do I mentally push past this? Um, if you feel that you can still continue to diet the way you're dieting for longer, then man, I mean, you have an end goal. Like, you just have to keep going, dude. You just have to keep going. I had I have a guy, we're gonna post his transformation soon. It's huge. It's huge. The transformation is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Um, and it was a process to get him there. It was a process. We had, a foot surgery in between. Um, we had some traveling in between. We had some days of, man, I don't know if I can do this. We had some days of, man, I don't think the diet's working. Just all you will play fucking games with yourself. And sometimes, Eddie, and this is not a shot at you, but it's worth mentioning. Sometimes we try to convince ourselves that we need a break and like there's still a long way to fucking go. And we're just like trying to justify giving up. And like I said, this is not a shot at you, but it's worth mentioning. Is like, hey, I'm not even really seeing the changes. Like, and I feel like shit and I'm tired and this is hard and I'm dieting and fuck this. Sometimes we're trying to convince ourselves to quit. So look out for that too and make sure you're not doing that to yourself. And like I said, that's not a shot at you at all. But I've seen that too, where it's like, man, I'm not even progressing. It's like, oh no, you are. It's just harder to see on yourself. But like go visit a friend that you haven't seen in 3, 4 weeks, and they're gonna be like, damn, what up, Fast Eddie? You know what I mean? You look dope, dude. So like, yeah, it's really hard to truly identify progress in yourself. Um, sometimes maybe have a close friend or a coach who you can send pictures to each week, and then they can ease your mind a little bit, where it's like, damn, dude, like this shit has changed. So if you're not taking progress photos right now, I suggest you do. I suggest you do. Because those are huge. Hell, nowadays, Eddie, you can throw them into Chat GPT. Throw in one from this week, and then 3, 4 weeks later, throw in your new ones. And Chat will give you a answer. Who knows if it's fucking good or not, but it's something. It's something. Like I said, or use a friend that you trust that isn't gonna blow smoke up your ass, or hire a coach. Christopher caught his answer to his question. My whole body is a weak point. I love it. And like I said, I don't mean that as a shot at you, dude. But like I would say that about myself. You know, I'm to the point where I don't even have like necessarily a specific weak point. I have things that can come up, but really even on my own, everything has to come up. Everything has to come up. And I've been bodybuilding for a while. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's not a shot at you at all. But until you're like a pro or beyond, like a top level pro, like standout weaknesses are pretty uncommon. Oh, Jay's asking. It was a question in addition to Christopher. So we are talking about training up, changing up programming during like contest preps. His question was basically like moving away from free weights and getting into machines. It could be a case. I do like to try to maintain strength. Not like that doesn't mean chasing numbers, guys, but I don't like to just like all of a sudden move all over to a different training style. Um, I don't know because sometimes I do, so I don't want to say that either. See, you see how this shit gets tricky. Um, he said in a prep or a cut setting, do you think there's a time where switching from free weights to a machine is a good idea? Yeah, sometimes there is a time for that. And then sometimes are you just doing it because it's easier? So that's where I get bothered when people speak in absolutes, quoting, the guy we talked about above in the chat previously. He speaks in absolutes all the time, and I it just that's what bothers me. because like I've had preps where I switched everything at like 6 weeks out. And the reason I did it is because I was so focused on numbers that when I switched to all new movements, I didn't know my numbers anymore because it was all new shit. So then I actually had a reset where now I could start progressing in these new movements. So, for example, if you're doing incline barbell now, Jay, and you switched over to a prime incline machine, you know what your incline barbell numbers are, but you don't know what your prime incline machine numbers are. So you see how it can shift, like how it can be beneficial, or maybe you switch over to prime incline machine and you lose a lot of intensity, which could result in muscle loss, but I think it's pretty hard to lose muscle when you're using gear. Yeah, David said, take progress pictures. Um, of course, Eddie. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the question. Jonathan said, congratulations on the progress. 70 pounds is no fucking joke. 70 pounds is no fucking joke, guys. That's nutty shit. That's nutty shit. And Eddie, give yourself some credit because like those first initial 70 pounds likely were quote unquote easier to come off. Now you're in the thick of shit, bro. Now you're in old fat that's been there for a long time. It's like when guys and girls get ready for their first contest ever, it's fucking hard to get that fat off that's been there a long time and kind of solidified. And that's total bro science. I don't know if there's any fucking solid like research or data behind that. It's just my opinion. I call it baby fat. Like, oh no, that fat's been on your ass since fucking junior high. That's why you don't have shredded glutes yet. And you probably won't even get them your first show because that fat has been there for so fucking long and we have 20 weeks to get it off. You see what I mean? Um, and that's not, like I said, it's total bro science, but it's just what I've seen from prepping so many people. Um, and then look at it in this perspective. Let's assume that you were 300 pounds and you lost 70. Look at the percentage of weight that is, right? And now if you were 300 and you lost 70, now you're 230, that progression is going to slow. It is going to slow because there's not as much to work with, right? There's not as much to work with. You can use an axe to start getting the shit, just chopping the shit off, or a chainsaw, and then you start scalpeling things off, or a smaller knife, whatever the fuck you. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully that makes sense. Fast Eddie said hiring a coach is definitely on my list. I need to budget for one, but I need to budget for one. Yeah, that could be a good idea for you. But bro, fucking 70 pounds is nothing to sneeze at. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. That's good shit. Oh, Joseph, have you ever encountered a client who really struggled to put on muscle to the standpoint where it sort of made you scratch your head? If so, did you find it was training or maybe a genetic factor? Um, I've seen people who just don't put on muscle as quickly as other people. Most of the time, genetics are fucking huge, dude. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But when I find, and this is not all the time, it's not an absolute, but when I find it's harder for people to get in shape or put on muscle, normally comes back to training or just general activity. Either they're not getting steps in and they say they are, they're not doing cardio with intent. Like, if you're gonna do cardio, fucking do that shit. Get that heart rate up. If you're gonna train, fucking train. Be about it. Don't talk about it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do that cardio, fucking be about that cardio and do it with intent. If you're going to train, fucking train with intent, you know? You can't change your physique with a scared mentality. You have to fucking dig in. You have to get after it. So a lot of the times, Joseph, if someone's struggling to put on muscle, it's normally their training, from what I've seen. Of course, genetics are a factor, of course. Um, but a lot of the times they're just not training. They're not training either hard or effective or both. Um, and training hard doesn't mean running yourself into the ground. So, like, this is where words get tricky. Words are tricky, um, especially when you're in a space where people are going to you for advice. You want to be cautious about the words you use, and I don't think some coaches are. Um, and I do think that becomes a problem, um, because there's always but and oh, it depends. Like that shit's real, guys. That shit's real. If a coach never uses the words of well, it depends or it's individual, and they just speak absolutes, man, I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. This stuff is just it's just not so black and white. It really isn't. Okay, so yeah, so Amy would be a good person to know this. Um, she's very data driven. She said there is absolutely science behind your body defending a certain set point. Okay, for fat that can change based on many factors over the course of life and the course of fat. Yeah, yeah. I figured there was, Amy. I've just never actually like read it. Um, but that's how my brain works. That's how my brain works. Um, like that fat's just been there a long time. Like, yeah, like Amy said, there's absolutely science behind it. But my fucking meathead brain is just like, man, that shit's been there forever. Of course it's gonna be hard. You know, it's like scraping off fucking old tile to put down new flooring like that. That old tile's been on there a long time. It's gonna take some elbow grease to break it up and scrape it off, right? Amy said, "There's the quote we need on a shirt. If you're gonna do the cardio, do the fucking cardio. Yeah. Or don't do the cardio. Because cardio sucks." Um, I had some more good questions. Let's see what we got. Do 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 do. Okay, here's from Dan. Dan the man. Um, yeah, Amanda, I did answer your question. Now get out of here. Get get gone. Um, you have to watch the whole fucking replay, dude. Because I'm not time stamping it, and I don't know where I answered it, but I answered it good. Dan the man from chaseironsforum.com. If you are willing to discuss it, oh yeah, Dan, I talk about everything. If you're willing to discuss it, aside from water, cardio, astragalus, SS31, KP6, Jardiance, lowering your PED load, is there anything else you'd recommend for improving kidney function? Could lowering protein be helpful? Any recommendations on markers to track? Are these enough? And he lists creatinine bun, albumin, urinalysis with creatinine, statin C with a GFR estimated off. This is statin C. Um, bro, you really hit most of them. Um, the one that you didn't include would be an ARB of some kind, um, or an ACE inhibitor of some kind. And part of me wants to say that if your blood pressure is good, then maybe those aren't necessary to include. But there is still benefit to a low, let's say a normal dose for most men of telmisartan would be like something like 80 milligrams. There could, in theory, still be benefit to something like 20 to 40 milligrams just to lower the glomerular pressure on the kidneys. So even if your blood pressure is good, which is the number one killer of the kidneys, is blood pressure. Um, Even if your blood pressure is good, it could still serve purpose to include an ARB or an ACE inhibitor. Telmisartan would probably be the likely choice, in my opinion. Um, and it's not just, you said aside from water, it's not just water, it's balancing electrolytes properly. Because just drinking a lot of water is actually, it could be bad for your kidneys if you're flushing out all your electrolytes, right? Shred Quest in the house. We're talking about kidneys, bro. You know. So you said aside from water and cardio, um, I always say hydration instead of water because hydration is a big picture thing. Water can actually be a bad thing if you cause a hyponatremia, hyper or hypokalemia, things of that nature. That's actually going to be worse for your kidneys. Um, So I would say telmisartan would be a big needle mover, even a low dose, even if your blood pressure is good. That's something I would consider. It doesn't mean I would just start taking it. It doesn't mean I would start taking it. I would, of course, talk to your nephrologists and make sure that they're on board with that. Jardinans would be the second big needle mover for kidney health, in my opinion. For people that don't know, Jardiance will flush blood glucose out of the kidneys and lower the glucose load on the kidneys. Jardinance is a very, very good one. I would put that in line with telmisartan as being protective and preventative and even possibility of repair. SS31. SS31 is a research peptide for people that don't know. It protects the mitochondria in the kidneys. I would, me personally, um, I would keep MOTS-c and SS31 together. MOTS-c is going to rebuild and enhance the mitochondria of the kidneys. SS31 is then going to protect it. So SS31 kind of puts like a shield around it. It doesn't let bad shit in. It doesn't let good shit out, essentially. Um, and then besides that, just keeping systemic inflammation down in the body. The foods you eat, all that shit's going to be so impactful. Obviously, keeping your PED load down, like you said. Um, Walking, dude, just steps. I think walking is so underrated for so many health markers that I can't even begin to discuss it. Let's see what else. Could lowering protein be helpful? Yes. Yes. So protein on its own is not necessarily bad for kidneys, but if your kidneys are already impaired, protein can make them worse, you know? So it doesn't mean that protein alone is bad for the kidneys. But if the kidneys are already in a bad state, I would not be slamming protein. I would not be slamming protein. That's for sure. And by protein, we're talking all protein, guys, not just like protein powder. We're talking all protein. Um, Markers to track. You nailed them there. Um, I think the ones that you have there are good. Um, One thing you will be able to see is, if you're eating a lot of protein, um, your bun can get elevated, and someone with impaired kidneys, like a cystatin C that's unfavorable, I would not want my bun high. I wouldn't. I would not want to be pushing the bun number high. In someone with a lot of muscle and healthy kidneys, and they're a high protein diet, I don't stress about it. But with someone with impaired kidneys and a bad cystatin, unfavorable cystatin C, man, I would not want any of the markers fucked up. I really wouldn't. I've taken one of my clients from a 35 GFR um, to about a 48 in a short period of time, and it was with what we just talked about. Tell me, Jardiance, MOTS-c, SS31, high dose astragalus. Um, those are going to be the big needle movers, in my opinion. Guys, don't fuck up your kidneys. Don't fuck up your kidneys. You can fuck up your liver. It'll be fine. Do not fuck with your kidneys. I promise. I promise. It's a bad thing. It's a bad day when you fuck up your kidneys. Amanda said, I'm a little busy with a feral child. Drop him off at the fucking fire station. Safe Haven. Is that what they're called? Oh. Peyton said, Jardiance alone keeps my statin C EGFR at 120. I don't use astragalus at all anymore. Yeah. Yeah. J Money, how many grams of veggies do you think should be consumed year round? You want me to calculate a fucking year's worth of veggies for you? fruits and berries as well. You want me to calculate that? I don't know, dude. I think 100 grams minimum of fruits and veggies a day. But if you're dieting, the fruits might not be able to be in there, depending on how nasty you're getting by lowering the carbs. But yeah, at minimum, you should be able to get 100 grams of veggies and fruits in a day. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. And if you don't love veggies, use potatoes for one of your meals instead of rice. But that's another way to like really effectively target blood pressure. Things like spinach, asparagus, potatoes, and then fruits are obviously good for antioxidants, mitochondria, stuff like that. Um, I don't know if there's one that's more important than the other, but yeah, I think you should at least attempt to get 100 grams of each in a day. I don't always get that, but as long as it's at least attempted. Yeah, that's a good question, but yeah, try to get something for sure. I'm not a huge veggie or fruit guy myself. I do like fruit, um, but I would rather get my carbs from something else if I'm being honest. Um, for taste, but for health, yeah, fruits and veggies are good. That's real basic shit. And veggies are pretty free on any plan, you know. Most of my clients, unless they were like really, really dieting hard, um, those things are pretty much untracked with some with some bumpers put up, just so people aren't eating like 3 pounds of carrots a day or something. Um, Joey, chaseironsforum.com. Another question. Not precisely bodybuilding, but could you give tips on having a partner move in with me who also bodybuilds? He says, I love this woman, but I know moving in with a bodybuilder can be difficult for both parties. Moving in with anyone is difficult for both parties. Um, the number one thing, Joey, that you first need to situate um, with having your partner move in with you, um, who's a bodybuilder, is the meal prep, is figuring that out. One person in the kitchen at a time. One person in the kitchen at a time. Unless you have a big fucking kitchen, it's just one person in the kitchen. So, maybe you prep, the proteins, um, or you prep your food first, she preps hers at a different time. I mean, if you guys are trying to prep your meals at the same time, you're better off prepping her meals for her or her prepping your meals for you. You're really better off then. But that would be the number one thing in my mind, is that one person at a time in the kitchen. That would be huge. Um, Other things, less important. Um, keeping, I don't know if she uses gear, but keeping like your gear in separate spots would probably be ideal. Um, just because couples that bodybuild, they both bodybuild and you both run gear, like, I don't know, that gets tricky, I think. I don't know. I've never dated a bodybuilder, um, a competitive bodybuilder or anything like that. So I'm not like a perfect guy to give you um advice on that front of it. But I know for a fact that the meal prep thing is huge. Um, so that's the one that I would, set, not boundaries, but just get in a rhythm. Amy says one person in the kitchen and never eat her prep meals. Oh yeah, yeah, you guys, yeah. And I'm sure that probably wouldn't happen with you two, but um yeah, make sure that, like, I'm telling you, it's going to come down to food shit living with another bodybuilder. It's going to come down to food and showering post workout. Like, those are going to be the two things where you're like, oh, I kind of wanted to shower. It's like, oh, well, you can go after me. It's like, oh, I just train legs. Like, I fucking sweating my ass off, Um, Amanda said, as Landon and I just ate Tommy's chicken. Yeah, that's okay. We order fucking, I'm a lazy fuck and I order MegaFit meals chicken anyway. So they are all welcome. Landon and Amanda are welcome to all those proteins. We have plenty at all times. But yeah, I think the meal prep thing would be one of the issues. And then, like, little things like morning cardio. If you guys have a cardio machine at your place, um, and you only have one, and it's like, well, I have to do fasted cardio, so that is going to be a thing. But I really think food, I really think food is going to be the biggest thing. Dishes, um, stuff like that. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for two bodybuilders. Everything else is just common stuff about living with another person. I mean, even the food, if the other person is not a bodybuilder, and being in the kitchen and bumping into each other, like, that's the only issue I would see with two bodybuilders. But um, and then if you guys train together and stuff like that, um, that's not so bad. That's not so bad at all. Um, but yeah, I think maybe have one person cook all the food and then the other person weighs it out for each other, or like, yeah, you'll just have to set, um you'll just have to work like a team, dude. That's all. You'll just have to team up. And hey, maybe, I mean, I really think it could serve a lot of benefit. I really think it could serve a lot of benefit, um, to help each other out. And like you might find that it's actually serving you in a lot of great ways. And you didn't present the question as if you were necessarily worried about it. You're like, hey, what should I look out for? What should I avoid? So yeah, yeah, just stay out of each other's way, communicate. Oh yeah, Shred Quest says it here. Communication and clear expectations. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, Joey, I said, the meal prep. Joey's in here now. I said the meal prep would probably be the thing. We're talking about you, bro. We're talking about you and your love life. The meal prep would be the thing to watch out for. So one person in the kitchen at a time, if possible. Um, like meal prepping together is probably a bad idea. Like maybe have someone cook and then someone weigh it out, or vice versa. I think I think figuring out the logistics of um of meal prepping specifically. Um I cook for her already, so no problem there. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, when I think of two bodybuilders under the same roof, I think about um meal prep. That's the biggest blockade that happens at home. Um and then like yeah, I think that's the biggest one. And then if you guys are like sharing supplements and stuff, whatever the supplements are, um have each person pitch in for those, like, hey, I'll buy protein this time, you can buy it next time, whatever. Hey, can I use your pre-workout? Just like my friend Calvin Turner, ShredQuest says, just like being communicative and just setting like clear expectations. I mean, that's the success to any relationship, anyways, whether you're bodybuilders or not, right? So yeah. Yeah, and if you do catch the replay, I went into a few other things, but it wasn't that sexy, so sorry. Yeah, Amy eats with baby spoons. Let's see, what did we miss? I think I had. Let me see if I had another question. Do do do. He said, "Gotcha. Living together isn't always sexy." I mean, man, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. That's a big step, and that's all good. It's all good shit. Um, but yeah, you can run into stuff, of course. Of course. What did I miss? Oh, ShredQuest said it's tough when one person has zero interest in fitness at all. I could see that. I could see that. My wife has interest in fitness, but she's not competitive in any bodybuilding. Um, but yeah, so yeah, if someone was just like completely oblivious to like your life, I don't know. I don't know. Like, yeah, that probably wouldn't work. It's not that it wouldn't work. It would just be weird. Um, it'd be like if your wife loved golfing and you didn't know fuck all about golfing. It doesn't mean you have to golf, but at least know a little bit about it so you can carry on a conversation. Um, like my wife knows about gear and all sorts of shit. She doesn't always like hearing about it, but she knows about it just because she's been around me for so long and, you know, listening to me talk about it and watching me kill myself with it. Just kidding. But seriously, yeah, if someone's like completely oblivious to one of the biggest things in your life, I mean, that's fucking weird, bro. That just I don't know. At least show like if my wife goes to a bodybuilding show, she can pick out like the top 3, you know, and she can assess physiques. She's never competed. She has no intent of ever competing. But she can at least um, identify the sport and like assess it. And just because of the exposure from just me, she could train people how to do movements properly. I guarantee it. I guarantee she could teach someone how to squat, bench, and deadlift, and how to use different machines. I guarantee she could write a workout for someone. I bet she could write a diet for someone. Yeah. And he said, my goal in life is to find a man who supports my bodybuilding aspiration and and likes eating a lot of cookies to also support my baking addiction. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably not that hard to find. I'm sure you can find it. I'm certain you can. Joey said bodybuilding cookies don't always mix, Amy. That's where you're wrong, Joey, because that's what Amy's all about. Her love language is baking cookies for other people that she doesn't eat. So basically, Amy's looking for a 350-pound man who works from home and just eats cookies all day. Joey said, I'm already fat. I don't need more cookies. Baking cookies makes me happy. Bodybuilder eating cookies makes me fluffy, which is why I need someone who wants to eat the cookies but still supports my bodybuilding. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, cookies are the best. So, um, those would make me fat as fuck too. Let's see what else we got here. Shredquest said cookies go good with everything. It just matters of how many cookies. That's my problem, Shredquest, is that once the cookie fucking vault is open, I can't stop. Once the floodgates are open, it's a cookie disaster. It's a fucking cookie disaster, bro. It's a genocide. Yeah, yeah. David said, I'm eating the entire box. Yeah, there once you start cookies, it's one serving of cookies is all of them. Oh, our friend Andrea at the Arnold bought us insomnia cookies, and David and I had those, and those were fucking ridiculously good. Those were ridiculously good. Alex G says bachelor life for life. Yeah, it works. It works for some people for sure. John, after how many binges would you fire a client? I wouldn't, dude. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, if it's like an everyday thing, then you're just not following the diet. But like, if people fucking just fall off and they're like, listen, dude, I had a bad fucking week and I just lost my shit, man, they need me, bro. They need me. That would be the worst time to fire someone is when they're in a bad spot. And like, man, imagine you're someone's sponsor for alcohol addiction or narcotics and or any type of drug, you know, because food and drugs, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, right? So, um, yeah, so if someone falls off and I drop them, like, bro, that's fucked up. That'd be like someone relapsing and you're like, oh, can't help you anymore, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I would say they need me more than ever if they're binging like crazy. Um, or they need some Retta, I guess. Kotami. Kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry, I'm fucking you can hear my boogers in the microphone. That's disgusting. What a peg. My bodybuilding goals consist of getting big and lean enough to marry a girl that bakes all the time and be able to eat eat it without getting fat. Yeah, you keep living that dream, Jay. John said, "This was a rough week. I had an extra crouton." Man, careful with those, bro. Gluten-free, I hope. Kareem France, what up? Are you ready for the incoming draft? Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's go. No problem. I'm too old, bro. They don't fucking want me. And I'm a drug addict. I'm just a liability. John, it was sourdough. Perfect, bro. Perfect. You rebuilt the gut biome. An extra crouton. Joey says, Coach told me I get more GH. It's a good week now. Um, Joey, when you rewatch this, I talk about my Increlex experiment that I'm running. It's short lived because I'm dropping the cruise doses. It fucking the timing happened to suck. But it'll be sitting there waiting for me when we're ready to roll again. So that'll be cool. Um, so I'm happy for you on the extra GH. It's a good week, he says. What are you running? How much GH, if you don't mind me asking? I'll tell the world. I'll put out your home address and everything. J Money 280 lean should be able to tolerate some cinnamon rolls and brownies. 280 lean sounds like a good day, my friend. I don't know if I'll ever fucking be there, but I'll try. Oh, Mel, that's terrible choice, bro. Milkshakes over cookies. Ooh, bro, a milkshake? What the fuck? Cookies are the best thing, bro, ever. 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 I'll trade my son for cookies. Which which is harder to make diet friendly milkshakes or diet friendly cookies? Either one is super easy, bro. A protein shake is just a diet friendly milkshake, and then cookies just like I have a recipe, I think in the form. It's just like cream of rice and oatmeal. Is your vial gonna go bad? Bro, drugs don't go bad. Whoever told you that, they work for fucking big pharma. I've used insulin that's like 5 years old and it fucking worked, I promise. You got to throw it away after 30 days. No, I would never throw away gear or insulin or anything. I fed enough bodybuilder cookies, brownies, and cinnamon rolls to know that all of my baked goods are incredibly anabolic. Yeah. Yeah. Increlex and Amy's cookies. Um, J Money says, my gear just increased and I get a big high day. It's a good week for me. Everyone's just living the dream. Joey says, 10 IUs now, 5 a.m., 5 p.m., plus 200 micrograms of LR3 on training days. Cool. Do you do the LR3 pre workout then? I'm assuming. And is that sub Q? Are you doing it bilaterally intramuscular? How are you taking your LR3? J Money, milkshake and cookies go together. It's not one or the other. That's shit. No, cookies just go perfectly fine on their own. Milkshakes. Fucking weirdos. Yeah, Joey, I'm the same way. He said I had some old Masteron that warped the stopper, just refiltered it and rebottled it. I'm not wasting that shit. Yeah, not Masteron nowadays. You can't waste it. You can't waste it. It would be like throwing away gold. Pre-workout I usually just do one side. Yeah, perfect. But I should probably split it. No, I don't think it matters. I'm gonna pee again, and then we're gonna do 10 more minutes, and then I'm taking off. But ask questions, please. Damn, you guys are really bored. I gained people while I was taking a piss. See you, Shred Quest. Thanks for being here, dude. He's gonna go slang some arms, slanging and banging. Shred Quest is my man. I love that fucking guy. Raymond said gold is $150 a gram, roughly. So, with some sources, that's pretty spot on. Question for Landon: what's the best vacuum? He's been using his Dyson. That's his go-to right now. J Money said, "I'm trying Masteron right now, and I feel like I injected gold." Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much the same price. Joey asked my favorite cookie. It would be a Twix cookie. Um, Oatmeal raisin are underrated. Oh, oatmeal raisin are so good. They're so fucking good. Um, a Twix cookie is like it's just a. Let me see if I can find one. Let's see. Amanda makes these. Because she only makes them like during Christmas time. Um, Otherwise, I'd be fucking 300 pounds. Maybe that's the key. Okay, so it's a shortbread base. Um, and then it's basically caramel or caramel, whichever you guys prefer, on top. And then on top of that is melted chocolate, normally like Ghirardelli, however you want to say that. Um, so yeah, the Twix cookie is money, 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 money. I could eat 9,000 fucking of those things. Google it, Joey. Just type in Twix cookies, and then go to images, and you'll fucking see, bro. You'll see. It's the ones that are just like shortbread on the bottom. I always try sharing my screen, but it doesn't work. So I'm not gonna try. Um, so I'm not gonna try. Jay Money said Anavar has to be the most expensive pill you can buy nowadays. How much is it? I I haven't bought gear in a long fucking time. Amy said brown butter chocolate chunk. That sounds good as fuck. Jay Money said fish oil's cheaper than VAR. Melmac says oatmeal raisin cookies. Alex G said, "Don't get me started with the primo prices." Oh yeah, dude, Joey, raisins are awesome, bro. Raisins are so underrated. I don't know why people don't like raisins. And dates are even better. I love dates. Not with my wife, just the food. Um, yeah, raisins are so fucking good. That's a good call. That's a good call. I don't want to Google it. I want to be spoon fed. I can't share my screen. I've tried, and I'm just stupid. I just can't do it. A good oatmeal raisin is hard to beat, says Amy. I soak my raisins overnight to make them extra plump and delicious. Oh, that's a good idea. Joey says white chocolate craisin cookies. That sounds good. That sounds good. The cookies I made this week were ultimate peanut butter base cookies loaded with a bag full. Jesus, how do you have this in your house and not eat it? Stuffed carrot cake cookies? I mean, I know how you don't eat them, but like, I don't know. I guess I have some good shit in my house that I don't eat, but that sounds really fucking good. J Money said, I need some cinnamon rolls from Amy to jumpstart my rebound. Cinnamon rolls and Increlex. Cinnamon rolls and Increlex. Maybe we can get a t-shirt like that, David. That's dope. David's sending me some potential designs. That's sick, dude. That's dope. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm not going to show you assholes. Joey said, that's the Tommy John secret. Increlex, cinnamon rolls, and cookies. No training needed. Training's the best part. It's the best part. I hate everything else. Sometimes I don't even like training, to be honest. Sometimes I don't even like training. It's rare, but man, there's some days where I'm like, fuck this. Not gonna lie. That's what I mean about just shit being uncomfortable sometimes where you just don't want to fucking do it, but you do it anyways. And it's okay. Because you gotta be about it. You gotta be about it. Did I miss any questions? I don't think so. Pillsbury orange rolls. What the fuck are those? What are those? Are those cinnamon rolls? Are those like biscuits? What are you talking about, bro? What are the macros on those rolls, Amy? Low fat? Bro, who the fuck cares? Just eat them. Oh, orange frosting. There you go, Amy. Amy said if you have to ask the macros, you can't fucking have them. Yeah, macros. Shut up, bro. What are these Pillsbury orange? Oh, cinnamon. What the fuck? Damn. Damn. Those are good, bro. Yeah, Joey, those look good. Bro, they're not low fat. Who the fuck cares? If it's a cheat meal, it doesn't matter. Austin knows that. It doesn't fucking matter. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, I got a bunch of diets to write here. So I'm going to get to that soon, unless you guys have any other questions. Any questions? None? David's off to the gym with Crystal, the birthday girl. Crystal's a weirdo and wants to go to the gym on her birthday. It's a perfect day to go to the gym. It's a perfect day. Happy birthday to her. No happy birthday to any of you other folks. Birthday back. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's a good training session for a birthday. Only saying it so y'all don't think it's me telling her to go. No, 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 no. She's a meathead. I made that clear earlier. John said, I'm having an extra crouton on my birthday. Croutons and Increlex and cinnamon rolls. All right. I'm going to get to it because I got to eat. And then I have like 9,000 diets to write, which is a good problem. But it's going to be time consuming. So, I could tell you for shut the fuck up, Jay. Oh, you fat son of a bitch. All right, guys. TommyJohnCoaching.com, ChaseIronsForum.com, OmegaMina.net, code Tommy, Leviathan Nutrition, code Tommy. All the good shit. All the good shit. Peace out, people. Mel Mac. Everyone's signing out, signing off. Get to the getting. Let's do it. Love you all. Love you, boys. What about Amy and Crystal? Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Joey. That's so bad. You increase the GH and you become a fucking dummy already. All right. See you guys. Love you guys. Good times. Until next Saturday. And we'll run it back. We'll run it back. Yep. See ya. Bye.